Hi, this is James from My Take on Reality. If you get any benefit from watching our videos or you enjoy our content, please think about hitting that subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so you know when we drop new videos and content. Thanks. Being tricked into a bad situation does not make you a fool. It usually means you trusted someone more than they deserve. Let's get it. To keep things 100. Memphis and Hamza's storylines were horrible. I'm not sure what happened, but they didn't cover either of them enough for me to get to know them or really care about their situation. In step with reality show foolishness, they've decided to spend the rest of their lives together despite the fact that they've never been in the same country at the same time, much less the same room. They don't speak the same language. I mean, what importance could communication have in a relationship? Duh. One of the parties is going to spend a boatload of cash to facilitate the relationship. Then, later, as if on cue, they will complain about all the money that they're spending. Go Team Love. During her interview, Memphis uses childhood trauma to explain why she needs a man to feel secure. It's very sad. Mother was on crack, daddy was in prison. The thing is, if you can articulate why you are prone to making mistakes and excusing bad behavior, why do you continue to make those mistakes and engage in that bad behavior? This self-awareness does not make you look smart. It has the opposite effect. Don't be the 52-year-old man trying to excuse serial cheating by telling the tale of when he was 8 years old and his parents didn't buy him the Red Ryder BB gun. It's such a horrible Christmas story that I can't believe he said that. Avoid taking the approach of, when I was a child. Be proactive. Take the time to heal yourself and learn a better way to live and love. These types of reality show relationships rise and fall in the folly of romantic sayings like, love at first sight, they're my soulmate, oh, they complete me. This is terrible. You can't be in a functional relationship with an incomplete person, no more than you should drive a car with only some of the tires. In both cases, somebody is going to get hurt. Memphis also has to be leery of generational curses. These are negative traits that get passed down from generation to generation, i.e. alcohol, drug abuse, child abandonment, etc., etc., etc. Clearly, there are some things that Memphis was able to sidestep to achieving the monumentous goal of becoming a nurse practitioner. However, like genetic traits, these curses can skip a generation. Be careful of the environment in which you place your kids because they can be vulnerable. She may have sidestepped the curse because she witnessed the carnage firsthand. Her kids don't have that experience, so it makes them vulnerable to falling victim to the curse. In addition, the curse can manifest itself differently, but it will eventually lead to the same result. Memphis now has 3 children with 3 different fathers. Does this mean her life is ruined and her kids are doomed? Hell no. That would be ridiculous. What it does mean is that things will become more difficult for her to give them the safety, security, and structure they need to avoid getting the curse or passing it on to their kids. I once heard generational curses are like trying to empty a swimming pool. You may not have filled it up, but it is on you to do your part to mitigate the damage. Recognize that there is a problem. Then go out every day and try to empty out as much as you can. Some days you're going to have a bucket, and some days it will be a spoon. Just keep working. Do your best. Now, Memphis and Hamza dated online for about 8 months before they decided to meet. My fault. Get married. What? All this was supposed to span over 3 weeks. The first week they would meet, second week they get married, third week there's a honeymoon. Memphis touches down and demands sexy time, first thing. Hamza's mom tries to insist that the two of them don't have sex before marriage. See, she too is trying to avoid a generational curse because of the damage her husband left by leaving her and forcing her to raise 2 kids in a broken home. Funny how these 2 stories parallel each other, between Hamza's mother and Memphis. But there's no respect given on Memphis's part. She knew how the mother felt, she brought him to her room, and she got knocked up anyway. It was almost like she wanted the mom to catch Hamza in her room. And now Hamza's mom finds herself in a situation where she has to witness her son having a broken home all his own. One of the arguments was about her spending time with her ex-husband. Having a strong co-parent relationship with your ex is important, but spending weeks at a time over at his house is absurd. You should be leaning on your fiancé for this type of support. While in Tunisia, when she had questions or issues with Hamza, she went off alone to think. He's not included among her trusted advisors because she doesn't know him. As we're all aware, Memphis went over and supposedly got pregnant the first week that she was there. To this, I say you have to protect yourself. There's an old saying that the old folks used to have when I was a kid. It's mama's baby, papa's maybe. This was specifically targeted to young ladies as a reminder and a warning that pregnancies, whether wanted or unwanted, will affect you 100% of the time. Reality show example. Hamza's parents. Hamza's mother took care of Hamza and his sister. Hamza's father, he had the 2 children. He decided he didn't want to do it anymore. He bounced. All of a sudden, Hamza's getting married. He's sitting in her living room like he's the king of Siam. Now in Memphis's case, she has 3 children from 3 separate men. One man is involved with her second child. The first father doesn't seem like he's involved. And maybe Hamza will be involved, maybe he won't. Similarly, she's completed one part of the generational curse. In Hamza's case, if he is the father, he's now in a situation similar to his father. Maybe he'll be involved with his kid's life, maybe he won't. And the curse keeps rolling. Now, around the time that they were supposed to get married, Memphis yelled and criticized Hamza for not planning for the wedding. Then she mishandled the prenup situation. And as a result, she had to go and hide in a hotel for the night and sulk. Ah, those reality show ironies. Just as a subtle note, prenups are not for everybody. Anytime one of my buddies came forward and said, hey man, we're about to get married, at least one of the guys will always ask the question, have you thought about a prenup? And then we all kind of look at each other and say, prenup what? He lives at his mama's house. What, is she going to take half his broke down bicycle and his PlayStation? Come on, man. Now for Memphis, it's not that bad of an idea because you know those nurse practitioners make paper. However, it gets a little tricky for me. Not because Memphis used her kids as justification of why she should get a prenup, but it doesn't seem like her kids came into the equation when she was trying to figure out whether she would marry a man from a different country or engage in unprotected premarital sex with said man. Also, her methodology in obtaining the prenup made it as useful as screen doors on a submarine. To bulletproof her prenup, she should have done the following things. She should have discussed and agreed to the prenup months in advance before the wedding, preferably before the engagement announcement. This tactic helps to remove the perception of pressure and helps everyone to save face if things go south. Hire a lawyer to draft the prenup. You wouldn't try to give yourself a root canal. You would go see a professional, somebody who does this for a living. Same thing with a prenup. Get somebody with experience. If you do it wrong, the root canal will hurt way less. Hire a lawyer for Hamza. This way his interests are being served and it becomes a lot harder for his divorce lawyer to argue that he had no idea what he was signing and what it meant, especially since neither of you speak the same language. I believe that's called communication. But we don't need that. Be fair. The idea that you're going to have the other person leave with nothing is like saying you want to go swimming, but you don't want to get wet. Go into it understanding that there is a cost to participate. If you don't want to share, don't get married. Let's take a moment to expand on the idea and the presentation of the kids. The kids never met Hamza. If we're going to keep it all the way funky, Memphis never met Hamza. There are things about him you don't know, and now you're moving this stranger into the house with your children. You are the first and in some cases the last line of defense to your kids. The world is filled with wonderful people, but there are enough bad ones to make any reasonable person suspicious of everybody. There are grumblings that Memphis is accusing Hamza of being a bad parent / bonus parent. Accusation that he's not interacting with the children, blah, 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 blah. This is something that I would definitely recommend that everybody figure out before you marry that person, you move them in with your kids, and definitely before you start making additional children with them, allegedly. The thing that killed me the most was Memphis could be direct and ask him about a prenup, but she couldn't have a conversation with him about child rearing and what is his approach to dealing with children as a parent. Even by having those discussions, you want to discern whether he has lived the experience or it's just something he's saying that he would do. Sometimes the person that you want to be isn't the person you are when put in that situation. Now let's take a step back to the term allegedly. There are rumors circulating that Hamza isn't the dad. The timing is a little suspicious. I'm sure if Memphis hears this, she's going to say, but James, I wasn't feeling right. I was getting sick. That's why I got the pregnancy test. I'm just saying, for me, it's weird that she jumped right to, hey, I think I'm pregnant. She's in a different country, eating different foods, nervous about the wedding. There's a lot of reasons why you might get bubble guts. Not to mention, there wasn't any supporting events. She didn't miss her monthly visit from Aunt Flo. Even if she did or was going to, it wasn't going to happen in enough time where she really would have missed it. It could have just been late. Looking at Hamza, here's a pro tip. Walmart and drugstores sell paternity tests. I'm not even saying he should leave if it's not his, but if you're going to play the game, you want to know who the players are. It's also a little weird because according to reports, Memphis is refusing to allow a paternity test. That doesn't look suspicious. Now let's turn to Hamza. He should have protected himself. How many times have you heard a guy say something to the effect of, my kid's mom? Yeah, that chick is crazy. And of course, depending on the company that they're standing in, there may be a variant in the word chick. These statements always have the air of some grand conspiracy. The feeling that some crazed and or sinister woman has trapped them. She won't let him see his children. How family court isn't fair. Because every time he gets a promotion, a raise, a new relationship, etc., 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 she's down in court filing some paperwork for more money. Let's assume all this is true. We would also have to assume that this isn't new. So I ask, why would you put yourself in that situation? If being involved in your children's life is important to you, act like it and take the necessary steps to ensure that you can be involved in their lives by making sure that the person that you have children with is going to be responsible and take it upon themselves to make sure that they have every opportunity to be involved in your life. Bottom line, they both failed to protect themselves. Respect is given, but trust is earned. Hamza and Memphis don't know each other well enough to have trust. I understand everybody on this show has found their bee's knees soulmate, but let's splash a little cold water on this situation. You don't know this person. You need to have time to build that bond and that trust. Now, currently, there's chatter that Memphis is trying to send him home. Memphis has systematically been leaking text messages and Instagram posts where she is accusing Hamza of mistreating her and the kids, saying disparaging things to her in front of the children, etc., etc., etc. All these things can be used against Hamza and get his green card revoked. It always strikes me weird that most of the 90-day fiancé people will break up with the love of their lives, then want to send them back home immediately. Hint, America is not a party. You can't just kick them out because they put their feet on the furniture. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. You weren't tricked. You just trusted somebody who didn't deserve to be trusted. I'm James, and that's my take. I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I